Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So, Roseanne Barr's show was canceled, and it was canceled because she put out a racist tweet. And in her tweet, she basically said that if the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes were to get together, they would create Valerie Jarrett. And for those of you who don't know, Valerie Jarrett was an advisor in the Obama administration. She is an African American woman, a respectable woman, an accomplished woman. But in Roseanne Barr's mind, that woman is nothing but an ape. And we know that that kind of terminology is racist. We know that for the longest time, white supremacists have depicted black people as monkeys and apes. They have depicted black people as animals. That's how they view black people, as subhuman. And Roseanne Barr's statements are racist and they are Islamophobic. And they need to be condemned. And I'm glad that ABC not only condemned her statements, but they went the extra mile to cancel her program. And that is commendable. These news networks and channels and stations need to have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to racism and bigotry. A zero tolerance policy. And I'm glad that an African American woman played a key role in canceling that program. And the fact that you had a black woman play that role just reminds us how important it is to have black people in positions of authority on these various networks and in corporate America. Because as long as we are not at the table, we are going to be on the menu, as many people have said. As long as we are not at the table, we have no influence over the messages that are conveyed in Hollywood, over the messages that are conveyed in various advertisements that companies put out here. So it's important to have black people at the table. And this black woman, an executive with ABC, played a key role in canceling this program. And the reason why it's so important that a program like this be canceled or that action be taken is because by partnering with Roseanne Barr, they are co-branding with her. They are affiliating their brand with her brand. Her brand is a brand of the alt-right. Her brand is a brand of racism, a brand of bigotry. And I'm glad that they have disassociated themselves from her brand. And I think that that was a bold move. It was courageous because they have decided to put principle over profits. Roseanne Barr's show was doing very well. She had great ratings. She was bringing in a lot of money for ABC, but they decided to sacrifice that money for the greater good, and for that they have to be commended. And the sad thing is, I think that ABC should have never brought that show back on the air. They should have never hired that woman. She has a history of making racist tweets. She has a history of putting out these ridiculous, nonsensical conspiracy theories on Twitter. And, she wasn't suited to be in that high-profile position with those ridiculous views that she espouses. I mean, not only is this woman a racist, but she's also a Trump supporter. And I know that people have every right to support whatever candidate that they want to, but here we are talking about a man, Donald Trump, a man who was supported by white supremacists, a man who openly pandered to white supremacists, a man who made excuses for white supremacists in Charlottesville. But yet this is the man that this woman decided to support. So I'm glad to see her go. I'm glad. And this whole situation not only is a reminder of just how important intersectionality is when it comes to these social justice issues. Because not only was this woman's tweet racist, but it was also Islamophobic. It was an attack on Muslims. And that's what we have to understand. We have to understand that the same people who hate black people are the people that hate the Muslims, are the people that hate the immigrants, are the people that hate Jews, are the people that don't respect women. A lot of these different manifestations of hatred are all connected. They're all connected. And I think that the groups that are attacked by these white supremacists, whether we're talking about Muslims, whether we're talking about women, whether we're talking about um, immigrants, African Americans, all these groups that are targeted by these white supremacists and racists and bigots need to unite around common interests. And again, this is an example of how people can get together to unite around a common interest. Now, some will raise the issue of freedom of speech. They will say that this is violating Roseanne's freedom of speech. And people that say that simply don't understand the First Amendment. The First Amendment is designed to protect the people from government action, not from private action. An employer has a right to decide what kind of um, message they want to convey. They have a right to decide who they want to co-brand with. They have that right. They have the right to cancel a contract under certain circumstances if they don't agree with certain views that that person espouses. So the First Amendment is not an issue here. And they had every right to fire this woman. And people who opposed their decision to fire Roseanne, they have every right to voice their opposition on social media, to make videos, to protest, to do whatever, similar to how the African American community and others have every right to boycott the NFL for taking action against the brother Colin Kaepernick. So that's what I think about this whole situation, and I want to hear from you. But before I close out, I'll say this. I would not be surprised at all if another network doesn't decide to pick up this Roseanne show, Roseanne show. Uh, I would not be surprised at all if they decide to pick up Roseanne's show. I wouldn't be surprised if Fox decided to pick it up or some other channel after all the controversy dies down. Or hell, ABC may say, well, hey, we reconsidered and we're going to pick this show back up. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But anyway, tell me what y'all think. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace.